Hello everybody, it's me, Drago Bob. I've been wanting to continue to pioneer and do new wacky things with my channel, so here we are, the newest addition to the 3-something or others on YouTube. Oh, and before I forget, the most liked comment on this video will be featured in the next. To you, Mr. Hippie Holmes, never comment under my videos again, you monster. Also, remember to join my Discord server too. There's an exclusive Drago Bob fan-only server there for Minecraft. And in the background of this video, there will be Minecraft gameplay from said server. Now, where was I? So, we're beginning this wonderful series called... drumroll please. Three scary/disturbing YouTube channels or videos. Yeah, we're keeping it interchangeable. Today, we're taking a look at 3 rather interesting, positively terrifying, and potentially funny, disturbing YouTube channels today. Now, let's begin with one I'm sure we're all likely familiar with. Vibing Leaf. Vibing Leaf is an excellent horror channel that's made dozens of different types of videos, ranging from plain creepy videos with no real story, or one that will be developed in the future, to retakes and retellings of famous creepypastas and other horror media. If you're familiar with this channel, I'm sure you've seen some of their more popular videos, like Dead Plants, Red Mist Retake, and many more. While I could make an entire video on his works, I'll only be covering a couple of his videos today. Now, for this section of the video, I'd like to cover his take on The Grieving, and Kung Fu Panda's greatest villain. Let's take a look at The Grieving. The Grieving begins with a melancholy compilation of Gumball and a variety of moments he's made with his brother and sister, Darwin and Anais. All of the audio in this compilation is distant, echoey, almost ethereal, which drives home what we see in our next scene. Here we see Gumball standing alone in his classroom, the entire room bathed in a somber blue light. Gumball speaks about watching Darwin and Anais running away from a monster, and him just standing there. The entire time, a darkness enveloping him in the room. I feel this signifies Gumball's ever-worsening outlook on life. Once, Gumball is nearly completely shrouded in darkness, we cut to a snowy landscape. Darwin is alone, calling out for Anais. We soon get to see Darwin up close. He's broken. We also find he's looking at a box. Its contents aren't apparent though, but before we can look any closer, Darwin is taken in a brutal fashion. This scene is far too graphic for me to think of uncensoring, so we'll skip ahead to the box, whose contents are also far too grotesque for me to think of showing. From here, we're introduced to the monster that's committed such gruesome actions. I recall seeing a post ages ago relating to the figure here. I believe this said post named it the Snatcher, though I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt and say I'm wrong. After this reveal, we're taken back to the classroom where we find Gumball has, concluded his existence. Like the others, I won't show this. The full video, however, can be found on Vibing Leaf's channel. I'll also look into posting uncensored videos on Patreon and maybe even channel subscriptions moving on from here. The video then takes a turn. Not a bad one, but most certainly a saddening one. We see Richard and Nicole, Gumball, Darwin, and Anais' parents standing in front of 3 graves, both obviously distraught, depressed, and broken over what's happened. However, it ends on a high note. so I don't take away from it with my captioning. I'll allow the ending to play out on its own. I honestly can't talk enough about how profound the sequence was. The ethereal, almost heavenly music, the white background and lush green grass, and the dialogue between the two. While I could go on for another page about this, let's delve into another one of his works. Kung Fu Panda's greatest villain. We open with Po standing in a dark void. We slowly fade into a shot of his face. I can't tell because of the darkness, but he looks remorseful, distressed. Along with this, we get a flashback of Shen, the villain from Kung Fu Panda 2. But from here, I'll allow the video to play out on its own. Shen torments Po, who may very well just be having an awful nightmare about Shen. However, I doubt it. In Chinese myth, just like others, spirits can be harmful. I believe Shen is one of these harmful spirits, clinging to the thing he hates most in death, to bring them as much torment as they possibly can. Throughout the short duration of the video, Shen pokes and prods at Po, his broken, deeply disturbing form being one of the only other visible thing in Po's voidish dream world. I can't possibly imagine what Shen put Po through to make him scream like that and end up looking like that. But Shen tells Po that he will make sure every dream is as painful as this one. From here, we receive a final shot of Po, with him looking angry, stoic, or simply upset with what he's been put through, or what's become of Shen. As a character, Po is merciful. He's a goofball who even gave Tai Lung a chance to stop fighting. However, just like Shen, they're both undone by their pride. Which is actually a lie. Shen undid himself by pride. Po decimated Tai Lung with the whooshy finger hold he did in the first movie. But with that out of the way, let's move on to our second channel, which is far more disturbing. I Can't Sleep. Let's dive a little deeper. Yes, Vibing Leaf is definitely a scared channel, but this one is interesting. Interesting in the way an animal hunts. There's a loss of life, but that loss of life contributes to new and existing life, and forms a cycle we know as a circle of life. Now, before I go on some philosophical tangent about life and its potential meanings, let's look at the first few videos from this channel. For roughly 2 years now, this channel has been making videos. While I could go into detail about the hidden story that's likely just beneath the surface on all of these videos, I won't. I'll be saving that for a full-fledged video on this topic, because something like this, something as special as this, deserves nothing less. While I'll only be looking at a couple of videos on the channel, I want you to remember this will turn into its own fully fledged video in the future. Why did I bring that up twice? Ay. From what I've gathered from looking at mostly every video on this channel, I believe most of these are representations of the creator's trauma they've received throughout life. However, this trauma also has the very real possibility of simply being an outlet for stress, a project of sorts, Maybe even a labor of love for the macabre. After all, without strange, potentially disturbed minds, we wouldn't have many of the smash hit horror franchises that we have today. However, to skip over a lot of the things I'd speak about before finally getting to the analysis, to save time for you in the video, let's begin covering the first 3 videos from a playlist titled Childhood. Now, these videos aren't ever too long. I believe their longest video at this point is only 10 minutes. And that one is simply a loop of the main character and another who we'll get to at a later date standing and waiting in said elevator. But I've already burnt through enough time just talking about things. So let's look at video 1, titled Underwater. Imagine sitting by the water as a child, your feet kicking back and forth in the pleasingly cool water until a strange thought comes into mind. What if I went in there? You visualize it. You slowly but surely submerge yourself and finally go under. Then, there's nothing left. You don't come back up, and you snap back to reality. The absurdity of the thought, let alone the action making you retch and pull yourself away from the edge. What a strange thought. That's what I believe is going through our main character's mind during this short video. After watching everything at least twice, I feel each video has a deeper meaning, albeit rather shallow at times, like the one you saw here. Now let's move on to the second video. You can't escape. It's calm. The sound of the waves crashing down, combined with the cool ocean breeze, makes all your problems wash away. Until, like a jolting pain or throbbing headache, the realization that when you get home, all of your problems are still there waiting for you. Because no matter how relaxed, calm, or at peace you are in that moment, your problems and all they entail will be right there where you left them, waiting for you. In fact, the worst problems may just come to find you themselves. This episode, I believe, represents problems and the fact that no matter what you do, they will still be there in some way, shape, or form. And just like the invisible thing that approaches from afar, like a deadline or a bill that needs to be paid, this is something I'm sure everyone here can relate to. However, it may also have a much, much darker and disturbing meaning, which I'll go into further detail on at a later date. But let's move on to video 3, which simply seems to be a manifestation of common childhood fears, perhaps the fear of being alone, of being attacked by some unseen threat. I wasn't able to gather much on it, so to make up for that, let's move on to video 4, Tooth Fairy. To live, you must work. To refuse to work is to condemn yourself to death. You give your place of work, or your life, all you have, and get a reward, though it takes a part of you. You repeat this process over and over and over again. And it takes ever more of you. That process continues until there's nothing left of value. Because when your body is battered and broken and old from years of work, you'll be replaced with the next person in line, whether you like it or not. To me, that's what this episode represents. Life taking its toll, or a job doing the same. The loss of a tooth in exchange for a coin can be seen as your pay. The Tooth Fairy also makes an excellent stand-in for your boss, because you're at their beck and call for however long you work under them. You can work 100 jobs and it's all the same. You'll work for hours upon hours for a small piece of their pie. Eventually, when you're old and you can't work, well, they have no use for you. And I feel our artist holds the same sentiments in one way or another. I would go on a tangent, and I'd honestly love to do more exploring with this series. However, we have one more channel to look at before the end of the video. If you enjoyed I Can't Sleep, I'll be doing a bigger, better video on it in the future. So now let's look at our final channel, Evanimas. Originally, I was going to cover a much more disturbing channel that I won't name because, well, it was just that disturbing. In the future, I may do something with it. However, for now, it remains in video limbo from which it will never return. Evanimas is a well-crafted channel with a small yet golden selection of videos. Chief among them being an ongoing series known as the Sonic Tapes, featuring a rather unique and fresh take on Sonic.exe named Shin Sonic. For this rather lighthearted send-off, I'll be covering Sonic the Hedgehog. We begin with a rather odd-looking Sonic sitting somewhere in Green Hill Zone with his lunchbox beside him. Sonic soon opens it to reveal a delicious chili dog. That's not a chili dog. Sonic, what are you doing? Okay, after Sonic eats, he encounters a Motobug and a Flicky, running side by side, both happy as can be. Sonic, however, appears displeased. He stares down at the Flicky and Motobug with contempt. Dare I say hatred. However, sensing the threat before them, the Flicky bravely squawks at Sonic, only to then be... Oh my god. Ugh. After this brutal show of force, Sonic Hedgehog smashes open the Motobug, revealing what looks to be a Picky. However, this Picky is missing its left and right hooves, or legs. Though, instead of saving them like Sonic normally would, Sonic devours them before jetting off. From here, we're treated to a rather wholesome scene featuring Dr. Eggman petting a rabbit who I unfortunately couldn't pin the name down of. The rabbit in question is missing both their legs. And after a gentle head pat, the rabbit is placed inside of their new Motobug body. And all is well until Sonic appears. He opens his mouth and... Well, that was awful. If it wasn't obvious, Sonic's been replaced by some awful pretender. Not only does Sonic eat other Mobians, but he's also, that thing now. Yeah, honestly, I don't even know what to say about him. To me, there's something deeply disturbing about all of Evanimas' horror designs. It's top tier stuff. If I haven't told you already, go and show these creators some love. They deserve it. Oh, I also nearly forgot to mention you can hear tails flapping in the wind. That same sound effect is from the classic games. So in the next video featuring Shin Sonic, that's his name, we'll be taking a look at Tails' fate. For now, I just want to say thank you for watching this video as far as you have. It was a disturbing and at times heart-wrenching experience finding all these different channels with all these amazing projects and animations on them. I'm already hard at work in the next video featuring I Can't Sleep, and honestly, I feel like that's going to be the best video I've made yet. Now, I'm Dragobob, hoping you're having a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Bye-bye!